Today, I want to remind you of a truth so simple and yet so powerful that it can transform the direction of your entire life. You are the one to build your future. No one else can do that for you. Not your friends, not your family, not society, not luck, not fate. You. Every person you admire once stood where you stand, uncertain, hopeful, confused, afraid, dreaming. They were not handed success. They built it. They shaped it with discipline, sacrifice, and relentless belief. The idea that only you can build your future is one of the most empowering and challenging truths you will ever face. It means that the life you dream about, the success you hope for, and the person you want to become are all within your control. But they also demand your responsibility. Many people wait for help, for luck, for a miracle, or for someone to guide them by the hand. But life does not operate like that. The world gives opportunities, but it does not build your dreams for you. That part is your job, and it is the most important work you will ever do. When Jack Ma talks about taking ownership of your future, he means stepping away from the mindset of dependency and stepping into the mindset of creators. You may not control everything that happens to you, but you do control how you respond, how you grow, and how you choose to move forward. Building your future begins with accepting that no one owes you anything. This is not meant to sound harsh. It is meant to free you. When you stop expecting others to solve your problems, you start discovering how much strength, creativity, and potential you truly have. The moment you stop believing that someone else will figure out your life for you is the same moment you start figuring it out yourself. This responsibility pushes you to become resourceful, to search for solutions, and to make decisions that shape your own path. Every successful person understands this truth deeply. They were not waiting. They were working, learning, adapting, and trying again. You may come from a difficult background, lack money, or face challenges that feel unfair. But your future is not determined by where you start. It is determined by how far you are willing to go. Jack Ma failed many exams, got rejected from jobs, and lived through humiliation. But he did not let those setbacks define his future. Instead, he used them as fuel. He learned that the world will often say no, but you must continue to say yes to yourself. That is what building your future truly means, being willing to keep moving even when no one is cheering for you, supporting you, or believing in you. Your belief must be the foundation on which everything else stands. Taking ownership of your future also means understanding that your habits shape your destiny. The choices you make every day, how you spend your time, what you learn, where you focus, and how much effort you put in become the building blocks of your life. If you want a strong future, you must build strong habits. No one can study for you. No one can discipline your mind for you. No one can choose your values, your commitment, or your work ethic. These things belong only to you, and they determine where your future leads. Many people underestimate the power of small daily actions. They wait for big moments to change their life. But the truth is your future is being shaped quietly, slowly, consistently in the small decisions you make every single day. Another important part of building your own future is learning to take risks and make decisions. Many people stay stuck because they are afraid of making the wrong choice. But not choosing is also a choice, and it usually leads nowhere. You grow by trying, by learning, by stepping into uncertainty. The people who build strong futures are not the ones who live without fear. They are the ones who take action despite fear. They understand that progress comes from movement, not from waiting for perfect clarity or perfect timing. If you wait for the perfect moment, you will wait forever. Action creates clarity. Movement creates opportunity. Effort creates results. Building your future also requires resilience. There will be days when nothing works, when you feel lost, when you feel tired, and when giving up seems easier than continuing. But this is the point where your future is truly shaped. The ability to push through difficulties, to stay committed even when you see no immediate results, is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. Every challenge you overcome becomes part of your strength. Every obstacle you face becomes part of your wisdom. Every mistake you make becomes part of your experience. And all these things build your future piece by piece. Finally, understanding that only you can build your future gives you control. It means your destiny is not in the hands of others. It means your success is not limited by your background, your failures, or your fears. It means that no matter where you are right now, you have the power to create something better. You are not helpless. You are not stuck. You are not defined by your past. You are the architect of your future. And every decision you make is a brick in the structure of your life. Failure is one of the most misunderstood experiences in life, yet it holds some of the most powerful lessons you will ever receive. When Jack Ma says that failure is a teacher and not an enemy, he reminds us that every setback is a form of training, shaping us into stronger, wiser, and more capable versions of ourselves. Many people fear failure so deeply that they never try, never take risks, and never discover what they are truly capable of achieving. But failure is not the opposite of success. It is a part of success. Every successful person you admire has a long history of mistakes, losses, and disappointments behind their achievements. What makes them different is not that they avoided failure, but that they learned from it. Failure teaches you things success never can. When you fail, you learn humility, you learn patience, you learn what does not work, which brings you closer to what will work. You become more resilient, more resourceful, and more determined. Failure strips away your illusions and forces you to face the truth about your weaknesses, habits, and mindset. It pushes you to ask better questions, to improve your skills, and to become better than you were before. Without failure, you remain unaware of your potential and blind to your own growth. But when you embrace failure as a teacher, you start seeing it as a necessary step towards success. Jack Ma himself is a perfect example. He failed school exams multiple times. He was rejected from dozens of jobs. He was not accepted into Harvard after applying many times. Even when he started Alibaba, people laughed at him, doubted him, and predicted failure. But every rejection taught him something about persistence. Every mistake taught him something about leadership, teamwork, and courage. He learned to view failure as feedback rather than defeat. He learned that the world may close doors, but your willingness to continue trying is the most powerful force you have. This mindset allowed him to turn every barrier into a lesson that pushed him forward. When you treat failure as an enemy, you let it stop you. You let it convince you that you are not good enough, not talented enough, not smart enough. You start creating excuses, blaming circumstances, or doubting yourself. But when you treat failure as a teacher, you understand that the only real failure is giving up. Everything else is progress. Every attempt, even the unsuccessful ones, is a step toward improvement. This shift in mindset is what separates those who achieve from those who surrender. Failure is never permanent unless you choose to stop trying. Another important lesson failure teaches is that success takes time. In a world of instant results and fast achievements, people become impatient. They want quick progress, fast recognition, and easy rewards. But failure reminds you that meaningful success requires effort, persistence, and time. It teaches you to slow down, to build strong foundations, and to appreciate growth. When things do not go your way, you learn patience. You learn to keep working even without immediate results. You learn that consistency matters more than speed. This patience becomes a powerful strength as you move through life. Failure also teaches you creativity. When something fails, you are forced to think differently. You must try new approaches, new ideas, and new strategies. You cannot rely on the same path if it has already brought you disappointment. This forces you to innovate. Some of the best ideas, businesses, and breakthroughs in the world were born from failed attempts. Failure pushes you out of your comfort zone and makes you explore possibilities you would not have considered otherwise. Another powerful lesson from failure is self-awareness. When something goes wrong, it reveals your weaknesses, your habits, and your blind spots. It shows you where you lack discipline, where you need improvement, and where you must grow stronger. This awareness is crucial because you cannot change what you do not understand. Failure highlights the areas that require your attention, helping you become more skilled, more prepared, and more confident. But the greatest lesson failure teaches is resilience. Life will test you. It will challenge you. It will break you down at times. But resilience, the ability to rise after falling, is what shapes your character. Failure strengthens your mental toughness. It teaches you that setbacks do not define you unless you stop moving forward. With each failure, you build emotional strength, mental endurance, and a deeper belief in your ability to overcome obstacles. This resilience becomes your armor in life, helping you stay focused and committed even during difficult times. In the end, failure is not something to avoid, but something to accept. It is the price of growth, the path to experience, and the training ground for success. When you learn from failure instead of fearing it, you gain wisdom that guides every future decision you make. Starting small while thinking big is one of the most powerful principles for building a meaningful and successful future. Many people carry huge dreams in their hearts, but they never begin because the dream looks too large, too distant, or too impossible. They wait for the perfect timing, the perfect resources, or the perfect situation. But the truth is, no great achievement in history started with perfection. Every major success began with one small step, a single idea, a small action, a simple beginning. Jack Ma often says that big companies do not start big. They start as small experiments, small failures, small attempts that slowly grow into something much larger. In the same way, your future will not appear all at once. It will grow piece by piece from the small decisions and actions you take today. Thinking big gives you a vision, a direction, and a reason to push forward. It gives you a sense of purpose that keeps you moving even when progress feels slow. But thinking big alone is not enough. You must combine it with consistent small actions. The problem many people face is that they get overwhelmed by the size of their goals. They look at where they want to be and compare it to where they are now, and the gap feels too wide. This feeling of overwhelm stops them from even starting. But when you focus on starting small, the journey becomes manageable. You no longer try to leap across the entire gap. You begin bridging it step by step. Starting small teaches you discipline. It teaches you how to handle limited resources, how to solve small problems, and how to stay committed even when the results are not immediate. These small beginnings are where you develop habits, learn lessons, and gain experience. Jack Ma's Alibaba did not begin as a giant global company. It began with a small group of people working in a small apartment, failing, learning, and trying again. Every day was a small improvement, a small discovery, a small adjustment. These small steps built the foundation for the company's future success. Without those early struggles and small experiments, Alibaba would not exist in the form it does today. Another reason starting small is powerful is because it reduces fear. When you take a huge leap, you risk overwhelming yourself. But when you take a small step, the fear becomes manageable. You don't have to know the whole journey. You just need to know the next step. This approach gives you momentum. Once you take one step, you are more confident to take the next. When you build momentum, the journey begins to feel natural, and your confidence grows with every small victory. People who succeed are not necessarily those with the biggest talents or the most resources. They are the ones who consistently move forward with small, steady actions. Thinking big ensures that your small steps are aligned with your long-term vision. When you think big, you don't waste time on meaningless tasks. You choose actions that contribute to your future. You make decisions based on where you want to go, not just where you are. This combination of big vision and small action creates balance. You stay grounded while still aiming high. You stay realistic while still being ambitious. You stay patient while still being driven by a larger dream. Starting small also teaches you flexibility. When your beginnings are small, you can adjust quickly. You can change your approach, experiment with new ideas, and take risks without losing everything. Big failures hurt, but small failures are learning opportunities. They allow you to grow without being crushed. This ability to adapt is one of the biggest strengths you develop during the early stages of your journey. It teaches you resilience and creativity, two qualities that become essential as your dreams grow larger. Another important aspect of starting small is that it builds trust in yourself and in others. When people see you consistently working, improving, and progressing, they begin to believe in your vision. They see your commitment and are more willing to support you. Trust is not built with one big achievement. It is built with many small actions repeated over time. This trust becomes a powerful asset as you move forward, opening doors and creating opportunities that you never expected. Thinking big but starting small also keeps you humble. It reminds you that success is a process, not an event. It helps you understand the value of hard work, dedication, and patience. You learn that every master was once a beginner, every expert was once confused, and every leader was once lost. This humility keeps you grounded, teaches you gratitude, and prevents arrogance from blinding your progress. In the end, this principle teaches that greatness is not created in a single moment, but in many small, consistent actions guided by a big vision. Starting small is not weakness, it is wisdom. Thinking big is not dreaming in the clouds, it is setting a direction. When combined, these two forces can shape your entire future into something extraordinary. Complaining is one of the easiest habits to fall into, especially when life feels unfair, difficult, or slow. Many people spend years blaming their circumstances, their family, the government, their friends, or even fate for the life they are living. But Jack Ma reminds us that complaining does not change anything. It does not move you forward. It does not solve your problems. And it does not build your future. Complaining may make you feel better for a moment, but it keeps you stuck exactly where you are. Improvement, on the other hand, pushes you toward growth. It requires effort, responsibility, and the courage to change yourself instead of waiting for the world to change for you. When you stop complaining and start improving, you immediately shift from being powerless to being powerful. One of the biggest problems with complaining is that it keeps your mind focused on the negative. When you complain, you give all your attention to what is wrong, what is missing, and what is difficult. This prevents you from seeing solutions, opportunities, or paths forward. The mind cannot look for answers while it is busy focusing on excuses. Improvement begins when you shift your mindset from "why is this happening to me?" to "what can I do about it?" That simple change opens doors. It gives you clarity, creativity, and strength. Instead of feeling trapped, you begin to see that every challenge carries the seed of improvement. Jack Ma often shares that when he failed, he did not waste energy blaming others. Instead, he tried to understand what he could learn from the experience. This mindset made him stronger each time life knocked him down. Complaining would have done nothing but drain his energy. Improvement helped him build Alibaba, overcome obstacles, and face rejection with confidence. The truth is, you cannot control many things in life, but you can always control your response. Complaining is a reaction. Improvement is a choice. Another reason complaining holds you back is because it gives away your power. When you complain, you are basically saying that someone else controls your life. You are letting circumstances dictate your future instead of taking responsibility for your actions. But when you focus on improvement, you take that power back. You begin looking for ways to grow, ways to adapt, ways to strengthen yourself. You stop waiting for someone else to change your circumstances and start changing them yourself. This shift creates momentum. Even small improvements can lead to big transformations over time. Stopping complaints also improves your relationships. People naturally trust and respect those who handle challenges with maturity. No one wants to follow someone who blames others, makes excuses, or constantly focuses on problems. But people admire those who stay calm, take responsibility, and look for solutions. This is especially important in leadership, teamwork, and personal connections. When you stop complaining, you communicate strength, discipline, and reliability. These qualities attract support, opportunities, and respect. Another powerful benefit of focusing on improvement is that it builds resilience. When you complain, you train your mind to surrender. You convince yourself that the situation is bigger than you. But when you choose improvement, you train your mind to fight, to grow, and to stay hopeful even during difficult times. This resilience becomes one of your greatest assets. It helps you continue moving forward even when things get tough. It helps you stay motivated, creative, and open-minded. Improvement strengthens you from the inside, turning difficulties into stepping stones. Improvement also connects you to reality. Complaining keeps you stuck in fantasies, wishing things were easier, wishing people behaved differently, wishing life was perfect. But improvement forces you to see the world as it is and then adapt. It pushes you to build skills, develop discipline, and take action. You learn how to solve real problems instead of running from them. You learn how to use what you have instead of waiting for what you do not have. People who focus on improvement become resourceful, smart, and capable. Most importantly, improvement leads to progress. Even the smallest step forward is better than standing still and complaining. Every time you choose to learn something new, develop a habit, practice a skill, or take a positive action, you are building your future. Success does not come from talking about problems. It comes from solving them. Complaining is easy, but it changes nothing. Improvement is challenging, but it changes everything. In the end, life rewards those who choose growth over excuses. The world does not owe you a perfect path, but it does give you the power to shape yourself into someone who can overcome any path. When you stop complaining and start improving, you unlock a version of yourself that is stronger, wiser, and ready to build the future you truly want. Patience and persistence are often overlooked in a world that celebrates fast success, quick results, and overnight achievements. But the truth is that meaningful success is never instant. Real growth takes time, discipline, and a willingness to stay committed even when progress feels slow or invisible. Jack Ma often says that success is not like instant noodles. You cannot just add hot water and expect immediate results. Success is a long journey filled with challenges, setbacks, and moments of doubt. Patience keeps you steady on this journey, and persistence keeps you moving forward. Together, they form the backbone of every great accomplishment. Patience teaches you to trust the process. When you start working toward your goals, you might not see results right away. You may feel like nothing is changing. You may question your efforts. But patience helps you understand that progress happens quietly at first. Seeds take time to grow roots before they break the surface. In the same way, your hard work is building foundations you cannot yet see. Many people quit just before their breakthrough because they lack patience. They want immediate validation, and when they don't get it, they assume their efforts are useless. But those who stay patient, who continue putting in work day after day, eventually see growth that others never experience. Persistence is the force that keeps you moving even when everything around you pushes back. When challenges come, when failures happen, and when life becomes difficult, persistence tells you to get up one more time. It is the ability to continue even when motivation fades. Motivation is temporary, but persistence is a habit. Jack Ma faced endless rejection and failure before Alibaba became successful. Most people would have given up after the first 10 failures. He faced more than 30, but persistence kept him moving. He believed that if he continued to learn, adapt, and push forward, success would eventually come. And it did, not because he was lucky, but because he refused to quit. Patience and persistence also teach you wisdom. When you stay committed for a long time, you begin to understand yourself better. You learn your strengths, your weaknesses, and your patterns. You learn what truly matters and what does not. You discover which actions create long-term results and which ones are distractions. This self-awareness makes you smarter and more strategic. Without patience, you rush decisions. Without persistence, you abandon plans too early. But when you combine both, your decisions become sharper and your actions become more meaningful. Another important aspect of patience and persistence is that they help you handle failure gracefully. When you are patient, you understand that failure is not the end. It is part of the journey. When you are persistent, you know that failure is simply feedback. You learn from it, adjust your approach, and move forward with more clarity. This is how real growth happens. People who lack patience get discouraged by failure, and people who lack persistence stop trying. But those who possess both can turn every failure into a stepping stone towards success. Patience also teaches you emotional strength. When things do not go your way, it is easy to become frustrated, angry, or hopeless. But patience helps you remain calm. It helps you stay focused on the bigger picture instead of getting lost in temporary difficulties. This emotional stability becomes a powerful tool. People who are patient think more clearly, make better decisions, and maintain confidence even during challenges. Emotional strength is often the difference between giving up and pushing forward. Persistence, combined with patience, builds character. When you continue working through difficulties, you develop discipline. When you stay committed even without applause or recognition, you develop humility. When you push yourself through obstacles, you develop courage. These qualities shape the kind of person who is capable of achieving great things. Success is not just about reaching a destination. It is about becoming someone strong enough to handle that destination. Another powerful lesson is that patience and persistence create momentum. At first, progress seems slow, but as you keep going, your efforts start to compound, skills improve, opportunities appear, people notice your consistency. You begin to see growth that once seemed impossible. This momentum only comes to those who continue working when the results are small. Most people quit too early, but the ones who stay persistent eventually experience growth that accelerates over time. Ultimately, patience and persistence teach you that success is a journey, not a race. There will be ups and downs, victories and losses, moments of strength and moments of doubt. But if you stay patient with the process and persistent with your efforts, you will eventually reach the future you are building. Your dreams require time, effort, and endurance. And when you give them these things, they become achievable.